I think he's going to find more use when we're talking about CEO or Teller's defense, whichever, because he's going to be denying even more. But I could see him wasting some time on a server take, for example, or a garage take for the attackers. And again, the attacker loadout, pretty much standard for the new meta. You've got Twitch instead of Thatcher. Capital's in there. There's not much to say about this, honestly. I'm still a little surprised that Blackbeard's there. I kind of would have wanted to see a Buck over a Blackbeard. Maybe not on Bank, but honestly, yeah, no. I think I'd rather see a Buck instead of a Blackbeard in this new meta.
On this bomb site, why does that help more? Because there's a lot of small angles which that face shield will really help when you're pushing in from servers, which I have a feeling is what's going to come their way.
Oh, probably. I mean, you're right. Face shield can help with the pixel peaks, but honestly, I prefer having the grenades to get rid of the barbed wire, to get inch your way into the site. You still obviously you have grenades on Sledge and Capital, right? But more is better, And there's a lot of different ways for the defenders to deny that, and a lot of different utility, like for example castle barricades, to try and hold them at bay. Either one's a good pick, though, to be honest.
All right, well, we'll see how they use the Blackbeard, and maybe they'll have to come back and try again with the Buck later on. BCK, holding the server room, has a trophy system there at the tunnel entrance to cover him from that angle, and just flicks back and forth to and from the stairs. Has, of course, then got those smoke charges as well to help cover his retreat should he need them. But ultimately, not a lot of barbed wire or anything else to really hold him steady, and it's going to rely a lot on Fighter here in the staircase, keeping him safe from there. So as he checks over to the drone, sees this drone coming on in, he will back off momentarily, hold just in case he hears a man push forward, and get a call out from a teammate when he can next go onto cameras. So sees Chinny edging towards it, watches for the grenade pull, it comes around the corner, ducks far enough down the staircase to survive it. But now they hold, they're waiting for the peek, Neps is watching another angle, Chinny's going to drone back in and loses it this time. Still got a lot of grenades, but as you mentioned, they come with 4, they've used up 1.
Right.
Neps sees Fighter but cannot land the shot as he peeks around, gets the information he needs. He's just holding there and stalling them now, and they're down to a minute 40 already. That's not good for the attacking team. Outside, Chinny has now moved around towards the lone off. He's going to rotate up towards the garage instead, looking at this angle. As Great picks up the first kill of the round on Neps, who comes sprinting down that staircase. No, sorry, he blew the trapdoor above, and he shot him straight up through the trapdoor in the middle of the corridor as Fighter is still holding the staircase. So Great getting a nice tight angle, and now great call here from Denial, falling back, bringing Fighter down, bringing Great back inside the A bomb site as the trapdoors behind them get blown. Don't need to play this so aggressive now. They've already used up a lot of the time. They have the man advantage. They can tighten up, close the gaps, and wait for the next push to come in. Vandal is going to peek around this corner. It's an easy headshot for Great. Takes a lot of damage in the turn, but he's taking him down and powerful at the same time. Gets 1 kill of his own in towards the vault and the elevators. They didn't reinforce the front edge and they rushed on down. Picks himself up the kill. Fighter peeks up the back staircase, takes down Chinny, who has just finished off Great through the trapdoor, but Fighter takes a lot of damage in the process. Twitch, however, is still down from upstairs, which means Redeemer's got to come and pick him up. And with 35 seconds on the clock, they don't have much time to get back down now. They've got 4 people to find. One of them is very, very low health, albeit, and they've still got to find him. And actually, he's the man that's going to come hunting. They know he's low. They know he's going to be much health inside the site. So he can be expendable. He can go up. He can try and find them. Try and be that thorn in their side. They have, however, nearly run into that. Dropped in from the front edge. Redeemer is down as soon as he hits the floor. Not going to be able to pick him up, though. Vandal still with 12 seconds. Doesn't have the diffuser. Going to go for the pickup. But they get easy double kill from inside the B site while they're on the roof.
Now, honestly, I got to credit that round to Fighter. Fighter not only wasted their time, but their utility. And it looked like what SoaR was trying to do with that attack is they were trying to take control of server initially and try to push their way onto the A site. But Fighter completely denied them, and SoaR was like, okay, we're not going to waste grenades. We're going to try and find another way in. They met another thorn in their side and ended up wasting away the time until there was no options to take. They kind of just thermited their way into the Teller's drop.
Yeah, and have many other options left after that point. However, it's time now for them to switch things over and go for an attack themselves. They had an idea in play. They had a plan in place for defense. It didn't really work out. Let's see if their attacking strategy is any better. They don't have a Sledge. They don't have a Blackbeard. They do, however, have a Thatcher and an Ash.
Now, it's interesting to see here on attack. I mean, the Ash is somewhat surprising. She isn't as amazingly useful as she used to be. But a Thatcher and Twitch. Now, what most teams will do is they will say, okay, we'll take one or the other. Because what do we need? We need grenades. We need the ability to actually get into the site. Now, obviously, you have the explosives to get rid of barbed wire with Ash and Capital. But what, honestly, do we need two different, forms of getting rid of trophy systems or mute devices or bandit charges, for example? Why do we need, a Twitch drone and a Thatcher? Again, I would have favored more grenades.
Yeah. So we're bringing Twitch drones with a Claymore. We got a second Claymore here on Thatcher as well. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're going for the double Claymores. Let's see where they place those later in the round and find out.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, Claymores on bank, especially useful. One of the bigger maps, lots of potential for flanking from the roamers.
So we shall see. Fighter takes out that camera in the back staircase and then continues and proceeds to drone the archives and tellers. Great, it's coming straight in from the front site. We'll be quickly moving on through with this Ash. Powerful droning for him down towards the front staircase. Giving him the size to line on that as he takes out that camera. Powerful continuing through open office now, but the Twitch drone is already there, also helping their way out. And he's just going to hold for a little bit to make sure no one's coming up there early on, no one's flanking up there or going for a late reinforce or anything, while the rest of his team come off their drones and make their way in towards the site. This is what he was covering. This is what he's allowing BCK to do. Risk-free, blow open that trapdoor, pick up the drone, and then head off to the next one. See where that is. Carvin just come off his drone now out the front. Fighter finished his drone inside here. This is what he has got control of. That's going to allow BCK to come to this trapdoor in a moment, but great. Taken out on that front staircase by Vandal, who was waiting right at the bottom of it with that trophy system in hand. Watched him come down the staircase on this camera the entire way and executes Ash with ease as soon as he hits the bottom.
Now, something to note, obviously, with semi-auto shotguns, even after having been nerfed, is they are still going to one-shot a 3-speed at pretty much any range. There's not a whole lot of debate there. They're 3 speeds absorb a lot of damage from those shotguns. So playing that angle with Valkyrie and having that camera, knowing that, okay, I can peek you if you're even at an extended range. There's no reason not to, honestly. I can still hit that one shot.
Capital goes down as well as he tries to push a little bit too aggressively down. Now BCK going to tentatively head his way down here too, but they're looking to blow that wall into the A site, which is why he's still got an extra thermite charge, and he's so cautious about heading on down here. There's the shots rattling out from inside the site already. Carbon going back outside. He's going to come through the tunnels to help give that angle. And Powerful looking down through the trapdoor above to cover the door. So BCK's got to hold in here until Twitch gets into the sewer. That's where he is now.
Bomb located by attackers.
And Redeemer is the man inside the site. He's already half health, but he's dog, so he should be able to get that back up if he's paying attention. So Twitch drone is going to come in, find him, and zap him in a moment. There we go. Back up to full. Just so he gets straight zapped back down another 10. Now got to be cautious of the pressure coming in here and focus his attention on the Twitch drone and on the man pushing down the doorway. Here comes the man at the stairs. He sprays panically.
15 seconds
Gonna
left.
switch it up towards the tunnel now, but 15 seconds. They don't have much time.
Not
Even they
enough
do
time.
get through him. He downs one. Will not get the next, but he's going to get himself back up. BCK's got to push straight into the site. Easy kills as he stands back up onto his feet. And okay, a nice idea from Denial to execute right at the end, but they were out of time.
Honestly, and not only were they out of time, but they got picked off. Ash got picked off on the stairs. They weren't leaving themselves enough room. It seemed like they were trying to focus on everything all at once, and it just didn't work out for them. What they should have done is, obviously, they had those extra claymores. They had the potential to lock off the flanks. Why didn't they? Why didn't they just take? Why didn't they take the large skylight room? Try to just open up pressure on the server, and then push their way into the site, which is what they were doing in the end. It's just, deny the flanks and pressure the server. There's nothing else that you really need to do. There's no reason for Ash to get picked off on the main stairs.
So, tried to go a little bit too close to the sun, perhaps.
Yeah.
Either way, it levels us out at 1 round apiece, and we're back down into the basements for the next attempt. Sorry, not the basements. Into the tellers and archives. This is the, as we mentioned, suspected go-to second site.
Right.
That's a bit of a surprise kill hole, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they play around it.
I was about to mention that I'm not sure why they would open that up, because if you're opening up that hole, obviously you're extending yourself to control cubicles as well, and that's quite a lot of ground to cover, especially when you've got to deal with 2 different entrances just from the outside into cubicles. You've got pretty much
alone these trapdoors.
Yeah, not to mention the trapdoors, which they did reinforce, but all the same, they're really extending themselves here. They do have the castle. I'd like to see maybe, are they going to castle the... Nope. Looks like they're just going to castle up the B wall and door.
Castle up the B window, the B door. Where'd the third one go? No, it's just
No,
on the window.
just the window.
Done the window, done this end, and the two entrances roll up. Okay, so
okay.
they're hoping this is a full B pressure, which, well, to be fair, looking at SoaR spawns, a lot of it might not be. So we'll see how they choose to unfold their attack as Titan heads straight to the lobby door and will drone his way in there. Vandals up on the windows, checking anyone late roaming the top floor, as you see Neptune's and Chinny's drones cleaning that top floor, trying to flush out anyone that may be up there and push them in towards Vandal's site. But once those are done, they do now have that buck. They're going to go for that floor above, and I don't know if this is going to pay off here for the defending squad.
Yeah, honestly, you can see obviously SoaR, they're like, okay, well, you know, they're going to be defending Tellers, so what are we going to do? We're just going to go ahead. We're going to take above. You saw them droning it. Obviously, their entire focus on, it seems to be that they're going to take above, open up above them, and just shoot them. You know, shoot them in the site, because you could pretty much open, I think, the entirety of those two sites. So there's nothing stopping them from doing that, as I can tell with the drones, and you know, hopefully Denial will have something to counter it.
Yeah, so we'll see. They've also got to figure out how to get through those barricades. And while, yes, they've got Sledge here and Chinny, you can come and smash them open. He does have to expose himself quite a bit for that, so they'll make sure they cover it. But also, on the other way around, Powerful is looking through at this trapdoor inside that thermite wall. This is where they made that hole down to the floor below. Fighter has the open office control and may get a nice flank on here, but great. He's already out and about in the open office area as well. Can go up and over and into the CEO's office if they do get sloppy and pay little attention to the flank while making these holes here. The Neps is making in the floor above. Carbon trying to rattle some shots off into the lobby through some kill holes. He's already taken a beating from Titan's Blackbeard, so that's going to push him back into more hiding. And the pressure is mounting here on Denial to try and make something work, as they've got the front wall thermited open. So even with those castle barricades, this is now a massive, massive gaping hole in their defense. And Great not going for the flank, is going to hold tight. Fighter looking for Titan around the corner, but the shield blocks the kill shots, and now they know he's there. They can just hold off and wait for the flank. Hell, even Claymore it. And Great tries to peek through that front edge, and Neps is waiting there right above him to take him down through the floor. So there's that rotate down out the window. Carbon taken out, trying to challenge the Blackbeard again. Fighter now cautious of what's coming behind him. Powerful still looking through this hole as well, but Chinny's going to start grenading the extra doorway, giving more and more pressure from the lobby from SoaR. Then Denial do not feel set up in any way to even repel an attack from this angle.
I like this attack from SoaR. They're basically saying, okay, we're going to take the lobby, we're going to take above you. What are you going to do about it? There's not really much you can do. Obviously, Denial castled off the doors, so they kind of restricted themselves.
Plan coming down, they do manage to stop it as BCK gets his second kill of the round, but on the reload, he's get pushed down by Chinny, who gets the kill. 8 seconds on the clock, though, 2 men left alive. Had to get the kill, and he did. Chinny managed to take down Powerful One on the push. And, okay, it started very well, but they, again, fell down to having very little time on the clock and had to rush themselves.
Yeah.
But they landed the shots when it counted. And even there, Titan with the flank push, that Valkyrie trying to come around the side, took a lot of bullets for both him and Twitch to make those count, and that could have gone either way. And if the Valkyrie had stayed on her feet, that would have really hindered the attack there. That flank was pivotal.
Yeah, that was honestly, though, that was a great attack coming out from SoaR. They basically were like, okay, we're going to do a united front. We're just going to go ahead, do it as it should be done. One team, you know, the whole team addresses one particular side of the site. One person goes above, tries to apply pressure, and then just kind of pop them like a pit bull. It's not very exposed, and it gets the job done.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Up
bombs.
and into the same site goes SoaR for their own form of defense. They don't have a castle. They do have a pulse, though. And we'll see where they play him, but ultimately they are automatically reinforcing this full wall. Will not be looking to play inside open office or anyone inside that small room. So this is a little bit more standardized. Titan's reinforcements over here, though, they're a bit new.
Yeah, no, honestly, I would like to see those open. I mean, you can play them, you can play it pretty well from archive straight into that outside door, deny that. It's not a hard angle to beat, honestly. You just open up some prone holes, you shoot their feet as they come in.
5 seconds to insertion.
And again, we have to remember that on bank, obviously, it's, you know, you've got one site, you defend it, you win it, and then we find out, okay, who can win the upstairs defense? Who's the first team that's going to be able to bring that home for? And generally speaking, you know, you'll find the tide of the actual whole match, will basically rebound off of who wins that first upstairs defense.
So, Great going to try and push in from the front end. Fighter going up for the back edge as well. He's droned it on out, and will then head in. This is the same route he made when they attacked the last site, so at the moment everything's standardized. Great coming into the front lobby as BCK droning for him. And they're going to chase that through and in. There's not too much that's going to be waiting for him inside this lobby, but there's also a lot waiting inside the site. However, they are very split now. Powerful.
Yeah.
Bringing Thatcher in the back door with him. They're going to clear this top floor.
We talked about how the way that SoaR attacked last round is it was condensed. It was compacted. Their whole team addressed one angle, except for Buck, who was upstairs. And we're seeing pretty much the exact opposite coming out from Denial here. They're playing really loosely. They're playing super spread out, and they're trying to basically manipulate all around the site. And I'm not sure if it's going to pay off for them, to be honest. It doesn't seem as well coordinated.
Great starts cracking up holes on the floor. They don't have a buck though, so these holes are going to be all they have to deal with. Does give some great angles onto important places inside the A site and then the doorway and the wall in towards B, but he's being tracked the entire time by Neps's pulse, so he should be aware. But he does step out a little bit too far in the doorway, pays the price for it. Didn't get his gun up in time, didn't make sure aware, but there's a great C4 from Vandal, taking down the Thermite. I believe before Thermite got that wall opened up.
I think it's open.
No, he didn't get it open.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, trading out the Thermite straight afterward. Yeah, it's
a good trade. Yeah.
Ash going to start immediately spraying into behind the A-bomb, making sure there's no one waiting for that. Fighter is watching the flank from underneath. Powerful gets another spray in across the site and does take Neps down. He was already low, but he makes sure that it sticks this time. Then goes back to watching the open office. Breaking back and forth. Chinny is downed upstairs. He was trying to flank that man up on the floor above. Ash down on now as well. And they could go for a revive on that Jaeger, but it means taking away a lot of resources from the other site. They are going to give it a go. Chinny up on the back side. There's only two inside at the moment. They've got smoke charges and they're going to make sure they're using this. Carbon up and above. Vandal is going to peek down. Does take him down with that F2 before the shotgun can do anything. Smoke's still on the Thermite wall. They're making sure the plant will not come through, and that gives Chinny a chance to flank around. They moved Capitao away from here. They pulled him away from looking at the flank, and now Chinny's got free movement. Smoke is watching the door, and it's going to have Great on the other side of it. He's going to go for the shots, neither of them landing the killing blow. He does now go down, but Chinny's come around behind and misses all the important shots onto Fighter. Fighter takes off his teammate inside the site for it. Will finally get down, but there's three other members of the attacking team inside.
Ooh.
Chinny did a lot of work with those two important
That was a good
downs,
flank.
but Carbon is there to answer him because the sheer numbers are just on the side of Denial.
Now, obviously, you saw it. The Denial got the picks off on the players who were anchoring on the site. But something I didn't like about that attack, and I know, sure, they won the round, but what we saw from SoaR, how they held that flank, is they went ahead and they went into lone office, they opened up the wall, and they could hold the whole flank. They just dedicated a player to that, and pretty much they didn't have to worry about it. Whereas what was happening with Denial there is on their attack, they had somebody playing in the hallway, and they had somebody playing on the stairs. They were more exposed, and you had to dedicate 2 players to holding that flank. It would have been nice to see them using what was just used against them.
Still no, keeping us 2-2. Everyone with their successful defenses, but Denial do have a slight connection issue with BCK and Carbon, so they're going to back on out. We will have to rehost the lobby. We will re-invite them and get them back in, but with the 2 successful defenses there, we're now back to reset. We're going to be down in the basements, most likely for the next come 2.
Yeah.
Those will be sure things for defense. We'll go to 3-3. We'll continue on through and see who can adjust their upstairs strategy
and
to break the mold.
And this is why not everyone likes Bank, is because it's just kind of ones and zeros.
Interesting, that scares me a little bit. We will see you in just a moment after this after this quick commercial break, fixing the connections and getting the guys back into the lobby. Continuing Bank with Denial versus SoaR straight after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're on one last player to rejoin the lobby, and then we'll get going. Score is currently 2-2 between SoaR and Denial here on Bank, our first map of the evening. Both teams have successfully defended the basement. Both teams have successfully defended the Tellers and the Archives location. So...
Or successfully attacked the Tellers.
Sorry, yes, successfully. Yeah, successfully attacked Tellers Archives, but...
It's pretty much what we expect.
Yes.
I mean, there's not a whole lot else going on with Bank. It's, you know, you're going to win the defense in the basement, you're going to lose the defense in the Tellers, and whoever mixes that up first, you know, whoever loses a basement defense, whoever wins a Tellers defense or CEO defense or whatever, what have you, they're more than likely going to take the match. Either that or we're going to see it go into overtime, and whoever gets the lucky roll on the defense will take it away.
It's not a wonderful situation, but hell, SoaR are confident in one of their strategies that they think they can use it to break that lockdown, break that stalemate.
You're talking about the defense and extending into cubicles on
whatever it is they think. I mean, that's what they did, so that must be what they thought was perfect.
Right.
But so many holes in it from where we're sitting.
Honestly, like for me, okay, so I could see it working if they're trying to address from, for example, the angle in Skylight, right? Maybe flank the guys who are trying to take out those castles, but they didn't do that, and because they weren't aggressing there.
Yeah, so we got all 10 players back in. We're loading back into the game. It'll be on your screens in just a second. Looking at our setups now, of course, SoaR are back onto attack as we are reset and starting anew. Time now then for the defense to go back to the basement for Denial. And I was going to say they're playing something slightly different, but no, they are in the same 5 operators. They're just in a slightly different order. 2-2, and they are bringing Castle back down to the bottom floor again.
Now again, Castle makes sense on this map. I think he makes sense on all of the sites, to be honest, but a little bit more on some of the upper sites, you know, slowing down people from making that aggression on, for example, Teller's side. It makes a lot of sense. Or pretty much just locking people out of the Skylight side. But, you know, to see him on basement, it's pretty much just like, okay, you know, we can waste a couple more seconds of your time, if it's at all possible. Maybe Doc would be a little bit more viable here. Obviously, we're dealing with sort of situation where they can open up the drops and cut off one of your teammates. Say he's stuck in a corner. I would like to see a Doc to open up those avenues for revive.
So, find out what kind of benefits this castle barricades bring this time, if anything at all. Powerful one using both of his impact nades on that red corridor wall, opening up 2 different angles and bolt holes into there.
Obviously, like pretty much the way that everyone holds this site is they barbed wire it, they reinforce the doors, and they try and hold it from Red Hall. That's pretty much the gist of how everyone does it. Because, you know, as an attacker, you can just open up the drop above the site, and nobody can play in there, right? And equally so, you can't really play from the door because it's a really easy angle for the attackers to just line up and pre-fire. So yeah, open up the Red Hall, try and play it as freely as possible. Gives you a lot of options. Now, the guy in server typically, it looks like it's going to be smoke this time. The guy in server, what his job is basically to do is to just try and waste their time on that aggression towards server side.
And he's inside very quickly now, already running through open office area. Drones on the floor above for him. Last time around we had them get quickly towards this top staircase and then watch it and hold for the rotate, but pushed a little bit too far and it all went wrong. I mean, to be fair, that was the Denial attack. SoaR's attack, they were held off by a Valkyrie in that back staircase with a shotgun, and Fighter is heading that way. He's just a little bit late, so he's got to be cautious, but there's only a drone waiting for him at the top. He does see him and escape. Let's see if they waste any grenades on it this time.
Now, we've seen Valkyrie doing, on both sides, for that matter, we've seen Valkyrie doing a whole lot of work on the stairs in basement. SoaR had her playing on the main stairs, and now Denial's having her play, obviously, on the back stairs. It's been doing pretty well for both of them. And then she gets picks, you know, she denies that entire stair with that shotgun, obviously very powerful with that close range, and it wastes utility, like that Twitch drone, for example.
Sees the laser, he knows how close she is. Neps is right there in the corner too. Sees a second laser, that should give him an idea. Fighter tagged by that grenade, but he didn't go too deep in, so he's not sure. C4 comes up. Chinny doesn't take anything from it. Now Fighter's going to peek on in. He's getting zapped down by the Twitch drone. He had finally killed it off, but it did a lot of work. And then he dashes back in through as the server trapdoor has been opened up. And here's that versatility where a dock would be nice, as you mentioned.
Yep.
As it is, though, Chinny helps him out by grenading himself. Somehow, in the corridor, in this stairwell, he's looking to try and flush them out and ends up, yeah, somehow with that happening. They do go up against the War Redeemer. Cautious of the smoke, though. It does tag him up a little as he starts the plant. Goes for the second one as the next charge goes off, and he will get it open this time around. But with 2 charges of smoke already used up before a minute even gone down, or before being under a minute on the clock, sorry. Pretty nice sign for the attacking team.
Yeah, I like how SoaR actually learned from their mistakes on the first attack on this basement. Because the first attack on this basement, they went all around the map, they got picked off, and they couldn't apply enough pressure to the server. This time, they got all the way in there.
Capitao has been down by firing in towards the site. Vandal's a man watching the flank this time. Titan still around the front, looking to try and pick people off at a distance, but Great gets revived successfully as he was not quite in the right angle. Now he's lost his head though, and Titan will clean that kill. Still down there behind the actual bomb itself. Fighter is prone. Shots rattling in from the red corridor onto Titan, take him out, and then Neps gets the kill on Redeemer, who tries to go into the firebolt to pick up the kill. 8 seconds on the clock, and it's a simple kill for Bill Cosby Cush as he tries to walk in for that Twitch at the end. And yeah.
Honestly, that was kind of sad coming from SoaR. Like, they had that attack in the bag. It was their attack. They just shot themselves in the foot. That round, they lost, entirely their fault. The grenade kill, it wasn't influenced by any enemy. That team kill with the firebolt, it wasn't influenced by any enemy. You know, it's not like they were making mistakes on account of the enemy team. Those were their mistakes. They had the attack. It was, everything was falling into place for them, and they made a couple mistakes. I'm thinking maybe that Capitao thought they had the smoke bolts on, but I'm not really sure.
I think the bolt was the right decision because they were firing it at the bomb. They knew Valk was behind it, so they just wanted to try and flush her out of there. But I think the mistake was Thermite didn't realize the range on it,
right,
and went in a bit too aggressive.
Right.
And then of course Chinny grenaded himself, so kind of everything just went against SoaR in that situation.
Right.
Nothing went their way. So now SoaR are back onto defense of the basement themselves, and well, they handed a free win over to Denial last time, and they got to fight for their one now. But they have brought themselves a dock to the table, like you asked.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly, what did that castle bring to the defense for Denial last round? What did it bring? Pretty much nothing.
Diversity.
Diversity, yeah, okay.
Ethnic diversity.
Ethnic diversity. But I hopefully, and this could not be true, but hopefully we're going to see from, hopefully
I think that's just a spectator issue, if I'm completely honest.
We're probably going to see from this dog a lot of HP. You're getting a lot of extra HP coming out from Doc. Whether or not he's actually picking people up, he's still topping you off. He's still, you take 99 damage, and then, oh look, there's a Doc. He can heal you back. So, I don't know. We'll probably see a lot more use out of him down here in the basement.
Hopefully so. On top of the instant revives with the gadget,
yeah,
the heals when you're still standing, and just straight up the bigger health. If you now, don't forget, if you have the ability to manually revive someone, safety to do it, do that, then heal them as Doc, 90 health, as opposed to reviving them with the Doc Stim Pistol, 75 health. So yeah, the speed is nice, and that's the trade-off. That's a good thing, but if you can safely do it manually, it's a better mathematical exchange.
Definitely.
But BCK, once again, quickly inside the open office area, does open up that trapdoor above the A site. Fighter around and by the back staircase, has his drone at the front one, and is cautious of what's waiting for him down there. But Great is droning it, has droned his back up now. It's safe and clear down there, and they're going to start to push down in a moment. Fighter going to use up a grenade on some barbed wire at the door first. Helps punch it through before then moving on down. And no, we're still just very cautious about it. What are you cautious about? There we go. Now Great's droning all the way down the bottom, sees the dock under there, chases it into the server itself. More barbed wire in the way, but Fighter going to cautiously edge his way down. This is where Redeemer played last time. Last time around it was right down to the last 15 seconds, and he held off 2 players and picked up that kill on Twitch when it counted, but that was also 5v3. There's 5 players left alive now for SoaR. Sorry, for Denial. Let's see if SoaR can hold off all 5 of BCK's drone. Survives that, ducks into the corner, keeps him distracted. Redeemer now cautious, but still unsure, looking for Twitch drones, looking for other drones. BCK is still watching him from that spot. He won't peek all the way around the corner. Fighter's holding on. Now they're looking for the man to go in towards the sewer tunnel, but the fire's coming in. Doesn't do too much. This is a good long range. Fighter gets across the gap. Redeemer taking incredibly low. Doesn't have time to heal it up. Pre-fires. Both of them miss now. Both very, very low. But flanked around from the tunnel. Fighter gets the knife for the kill, and they do make the job work. But Fighter is now super, super low.
You know, honestly, I'm kind of surprised seeing them SoaR trying to put Doc in behind servers. Now, I understand it, try and deny the grenades, right? If he gets down, he can pick himself back up, but he has so much more utility and so much more use put in a team position. So play him in Red Hall. You know, try and heal up your team.
Smokes are going out. BCK was taking a lot of damage there from that second one while trying to get the plant down. At the same time, Great has been down. Powerful comes in and sprints through it to get into his teammates. Carbon gets picked off by Chinny at a range. Now the plant's going to go through. Powerful is the only man standing on his team, especially as that kill goes over to Thermite. The third and final smoke charge finishes him off. And once again, they set up their attack well. They set up their plant spot well. But they wait so damn long that when they do finally come in, there's no time left. If they don't land first bullet kills, they're done.
They exerted a whole lot of caution on taking those stairs, specifically the stairs. Not only the server, but they actually used utility to get rid of this, a grenade, a firebolt, just to get rid of 2 barbed wire without getting picked off. And, you know, it makes sense, but they took too much time about it.
And as a result, what a surprise. We're at a level 3-3 game. God. Who saw that coming?
Nobody saw that coming.
So, time to go back upstairs. Can we hold this again? Well, we're into the Teller's archives once more from Denial. They held it in a very standardized, weird setting before.
Were they the ones who tried to extend, or was it SoaR who tried to extend?
It was these guys who tried to extend, and they're going to try and do it again.
Yeah.
Now, cracking open. Different hole
That's
here. All right, the
one,
rotate into kitchen is different, which is okay. It's nice, it gives you another way out, but at the same time, it's even more space you've now got to control, and you couldn't control the first bit of space you had. So now why do you want to try and hold more?
See, okay, I kind of get what they're trying to do here.
Please
But
enlighten us.
But it doesn't. Okay, they're trying to control more ground, right? Because they figure, okay, well, it gives us more options, but they can't utilize the options they're opening themselves up to. Like, for example, okay, well, we can flank out of open office to try and get them as they try to open into A, but you can't do that though, because what does SoaR do? They stick someone in lone office, open up the wall, and just watch that flank. And okay, well, what if they try to attack from Skylight? Well, you can't really do that either. It's just, I don't see much use in this. I see what they're trying to do with it, but I don't see it working.
Well, we'll find out. In 2.5 minutes' time, we will know. Same setup as before from SoaR as they begin droning in the floors above. Neps throws that right up and in through the window. He, of course, will go into the top floor shortly. Start racking open the top floor like he did before. Picked up some important kills from their last round over, but has to make sure it's safe to do so first. And it is, because everyone is once again playing on the floor below for the defending team. Great, though, inside the open office is once again looking towards the elevators. This is where Valk sat last time, so this time Fighter, while checking the cameras, is sitting inside the open office with him. So they're doubling up in here. Cosby Kush sitting inside the site, waiting for that thermite to come to the wall. We'll try and smoke him off of it when he hears him there. Powerful, once again, inside the small little side office room, looking down through the trapdoor they blew open, and Carbon inside the B site on the cameras, giving them information feed about the lobby. Sees the Blackbeard heading in there and then comes off because they're ready for that pressure to come the front way. And as Blackbeard starts to peek around into the open office, Jaeger's not actually here for it.
And we're seeing pretty much the same attack we saw from SoaR last time. You know, they're going to open up above, they're going to open the wall and tellers, and they're going to try and get those picks, force them into the site so that the guy above can just shut them down. And it's pretty basic, but surprising right now, we don't have anyone in the lone office. Oh, looks like, actually, just a late flag hold coming into the lone office just now.
Came on in. Oh, the grenade for Neps doesn't quite go down the hole he wanted to. Thankfully, hadn't cooked it that long yet, so he does manage to survive and run away. But starts cracking open more holes. He's been punished up through the holes he made earlier on this time over, though. So it's a little bit more risky for him to be here. Grenades down in towards the connector of B, but basically he's pushed the defenders deeper back and into the B site, giving them control of A without actually getting any kills here. Carbon and Powerful have had to rotate a long way around. Powerful, in fact, right into that back corner room again. Powerful Carbon starting to try and edge forward again up against the walls, but is very cautious about where Nips is. Gets behind him, misses the shot, tries to fire through the floor and still can't land them. And Powerful has been finished off by Neps off in that side room. Great, still looking in towards elevators. Chinny is watching him. BCK did a lot of work from inside this front side, but this time Redeemer has got inside and he doesn't see him, so the plant is going down. Titan has picked up Carbon, he tries to rotate through the black. They do get a kill onto Valkyrie. Sledge has been down by Chinny. Great gets that as he's rotating on through, but Redeemer can now just prone down behind this desk. Great is trying to rotate up and over from above, but now BCK pinned in this site has Redeemer in one side, but cannot get across because of that thermite wall to try and get to the diffuser. Great doesn't have the time to play this slowly. He doesn't realize that Neps has moved away and gone down into the lobby. BCK gets a good shotgun kill onto Redeemer, but still has to get across this gap, and Titan is watching it. He is ticking down. It takes 7 seconds to defuse. Titan still holding it tight. Looks away at the worst time. They do switch around and get the kill onto Great, but they all switch back in time for BCK, who could have got across to the diffuser in that window.
That was a lot closer than it needed to be. But to be honest, that defense on Tellers, you know, it was close. But I've said it before already, and I'll say it again. I mean, Castle, I thought maybe, okay, could be useful on these upstairs site, but he's not really doing anything. In fact, he's hurting his team more than helping him, or more than helping them, because what is he doing? He's denying the flexibility. So you saw Blackbeard, for example, when he was playing that open thermite wall, he was playing it close. What was he doing? He did not have to worry about looking behind him, because guess what? There's a castle. The defenders can't get through there, and if they do get through there, if they try to get through there, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna be able. It's just a prompt, right? So it's honestly hurting the flexibility of the defenders, in my opinion, in this circumstance. And it's interesting because it seems like what they're trying to do is give themselves more flexibility with that more open, wide, you know, controlling of cubicles. But it's just not helping them.
All right, SoaR's attempt then to hold this same site. They went for a more standardized play. They're reinforcing the walls we're used to. They're sitting closer to the site, but this time they brought themselves Capcan.
Yeah. I mean, on Bank, sure. I mean, it's a bright map. Very bright. You're not going to see the laser in a lot of places. Look where he's doing it right now. He just put it on the red carpet. Maybe it'll go unnoticed. Who knows? You know, honestly, with the way they've been playing Doc, I don't see any detriment to bringing a Capcan and maybe getting a free kill here and there.
Doing it same on the top floor here, so he can, this way, not play up here perhaps. He might rotate down later on and just use it as a, if they're not paying attention once they've droned it and think it's clear,
right,
we get a good kill. We'll see. He might still also try and play up here and force them to come towards him, but no. Finish the traps, heads on down. Is going to go down into the basement rather than the bomb site, and does get spotted by a drone as he heads down there, but I don't think he might have heard it. Judging from where he's turning around, yeah, he heard it, but he's not sure where it's gone, so he's got to be more cautious now. But he's got Chinny down here with him as well, so these two roamers underneath. Okay, if they attack the B site, these guys are going to come up from the server stairs and cover them. But one, an easy claymore covers that.
Yeah.
Two, one player can cover the whole staircase on their own.
Exactly.
And three, if they then just say, screw it, we'll go to the A site, again, they can only come from the elevators or the top floor. And
I just don't understand. I don't know why you would roam down there. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's 2 stairs for you to get up, right? And 2 claymores solve that problem. Just like that, it's over. You know. So I feel like you're kind of wasting resources by putting someone down
they
there.
Have 2 claymores? Yes, they do. They have 2.
Yeah,
claymores,
they have 2 claymores. So it's totally feasible that they could just. Oh.
Astra's come down that back staircase, ticking off by 2. Does take 1 pulse very low. Neps, but Low is not dead, and he's still standing, and Ash isn't. So that's that out of the picture. Most of his team still very much far off. They went for that little bit of aggression way too early now. BCK, Powerful in the lobby. Powerful's going to go upstairs. Not in the Capcan traps just yet. He is edging and checking the door frames, but not these ones.
And we were seeing...
They were taken out by Twistron, actually, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're seeing pretty much the same thing coming out from Denial every round here on Attack. They're really fragmented. They're kind of playing it just as their own deal. And from SoaR, it's the total opposite. When they're attacking lobby, what do? They all come in the lobby. They send Buck upstairs, and it's just, you know, it's a team attack. This is, I don't know what that Ash was doing.
I was about to say, is he doing this before he blows the wall? He was going to peek the Capcan. That's madness. The Capcan, he watched looking at the trapdoor.
Right, yeah, it was
before he thermite the wall. Then as he goes to do it, I have no idea how he survived that C4, in complete honesty.
Yeah, no,
that was really close to him.
Sometimes it's a little weird.
But now they're being smoked out of the wall. That's the second smoke charge, but with 40 seconds left, he doesn't have to hold them off for much longer. But the smokes are now coming in from BCK, so they're going to cover the plant push if they need to. Titan, though, starts spraying across the gap. Twitch taking a lot of damage. The roamers from downstairs looking to make their move up. BCK, though, wants to come into the site, and the smoke is still up close. Gets Titan through the wall. Very nice shot. Going to get around behind Redeemer here now, but gets down just before he gets the shot off. Neps peeks out at the perfect time. Redeemer turns around to look behind him just as Fighter comes in. Fighter's hiding behind the bomb, but he flicks up to Carbon. Then he flicks to Fighter and downs him. The plant is going down right on the other side of this wall, but he sees Powerful one sprint away. Now he's got 2 teammates left that do manage to flank up behind. Capcan comes over the desk, Vandal with an easy kill. There's the defuse. And okay, that Roma came upstairs, he got away with it. He did walk into a Claymore. How,
Right.
I don't know. But it was all allowed because this smoke picks up 3 kills within the site.
That was
And there was
impressive.
no one left to watch the flanks.
And that's the round we've been talking about this whole time. That's the round that we expect to see from, to win this match on Bank.
Hello.
Hello.
Why are we here?
I don't know.
Oh, we had a player drop. That would be
Oh,
one. So we'll
okay.
see. Yeah,
So we're
production
re-hosting.
caught that before we even did. But yes, that's the round you're talking about. For winning a defense round on the upstairs bomb site must be done. And yeah, that's the round. That's it. That's 5.
Is it?
Yeah. What? Hey, that's 5-3.
Oh,
Apparently,
okay,
I
so
completely
it's
lost track of the
over.
score. There we go. It's done. That's why they're all disconnecting. There we go. So that's map number 1. All right, we're going to take stock. We're going to come down for a minute. Come back in a moment. We'll get the second map going. It's going to be Hereford base, and we'll talk a little bit more about that one when our heads have settled. It's gone 4 a.m. We're allowed for this. Let's quickly watch over the highlights of that map, and then we can talk about it and look at the next one. Yeah, of course it's 5-3.
We knew that. We totally knew that.
Yeah. Kix has just got off a plane, ladies and gentlemen. The dude has not had a chance to sleep.
They were like, okay, you're coming in on Sunday, and then you're going to cast on Monday. It's happening now. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, of course. It was 3-3.
But that was a beautiful
Successfully hold
defense
their
on
defense.
Tellers.
Yeah.
That really, it came down to Redeemer and that Pulse protecting Redeemer. You saw he was totally exposed. Who was that Thatcher coming in? I can't. It was powerful coming in trying to get that ranked that flank rather on the smoke. If he had gotten that, if the Pulse hadn't stopped that, that could have been another round for the attackers on Tellers.
Yeah.
For all we know. Like you said, why was there no Claymore on the flank? They
had
have
two.
the
They didn't place
Claymores. Yeah, and so that flanker also contributing to the win. I feel like Denial really didn't play that super well. Maybe they don't know this map super well, but it seemed like they were fragmented. I have no idea what that Ashe was doing on those stairs. That you don't play that angle ever. It's just an unwinnable angle. You're coming down. They can see your legs. You can't see them at all.
Strange.
It is strange.
We'll take stock. We'll be back when the players get into this lobby again for the next map. But yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, we'll go and grab a coffee or something really quickly. See you in a minute, guys, with Hereford base, our second map between SoaR and Denial. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, map number 2, Hereford Base. It's been a long time since we've seen this anywhere, to be completely fair, but now we're getting it here on Xbox as our second map between SoaR and Denial. SoaR won that first map then, 5 rounds to 3. Have confirmed, we are caught up. We are awake, we promise.
We figured it out, guys.
And now they're looking to, of course, secure this one for all 3 points. But this was the Denial choice, which is why SoaR are starting on defense, unsurprisingly, of the basement.
You know, honestly, I'm hopeful for Denial here. Now, we saw on Bank, they seemed a little disoriented. They seemed to be kind of wandering a little bit. I don't think they're going to have that problem on Hereford. Obviously, I'm sure they've played it quite a bit more. It's more of a favored map than Bank. And again, it was their pick, like you said. So, hopefully, a more refined attack and defense from Denial here.
All right, so as you mentioned earlier on, never mind, we won't touch on it too far, as Vandal has
out,
disconnected. So that is gone, so we just got back. We will be carrying in a minute. As of course, all the players are going to back out. We'll remake the lobby again, re-invite them, blah blah blah.
Bomb located by attack.
Thankfully, though, no rounds played this time around.
Yeah.
Still that to think for. But you're talking about earlier on, and this is not a secret to much anyone anymore. Basement can be held more or less solidly
from one side.
the B side.
Yeah, it's you open up the wall and you shoot them from the holes in your B wall. It's not very complicated. It's really easy. It's really easy, and everyone knows how to do it now. I think that strat originated from Penta in Season 1, but I'm not entirely sure.
I'm willing to go far and say it is. Those were the Hereford guys.
They were.
Season 1.
It was crazy. You know, they really dominated, and they won Season 1, so. Yeah.
They went very well. But we'll run to another commercial break. We'll come back in just a moment. We'll hopefully have a working game that time. See you there. All right, second time lucky.
Yeah, no, we're starting right back in. Just, oh,
Pretend
start.
it never happened. All right,
Restart.
first round. SoaR on defense, briefing and armory. Downstairs they go, running a 3 armor setup. I like this on this defense.
I mean, it's what
not
you
a lot of
expect.
moving. There's not a lot of
Right.
rotating, so you don't need the speed, and you can just sit there and soak up bullets while outputting great damage with the weapons these three have. The MP5s and Capcan's weapon, beautiful.
Honestly, most of the time, I wouldn't be in favor of Capcan. As you know, a former PC player, I just don't see the use in him. Even as someone who dies to Capcans a lot in ranked, it's honestly I don't see a lot of use in him. But in this situation, on a basement defense for Hereford, I mean, armor. You know what I mean? And then you've got the Jaeger, you got the ADS devices, you've got the smoke for denying of you know, the A site. Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with this lineup. I think it's a beautiful lineup for this defense.
Twitch drone just sitting right outside that door. Didn't quite zap Redeem. I thought it might have zapped him underneath the door, but he's just watching. Just notice that the Twitch drone doesn't have the name mark above it. Like you see Fighter's drone here as his name indicator. Twitch drone,
Yeah.
nothing.
Seems to be there's some spectator issues with the Twitch drone. We've seen them all night.
There's that, but hey ho. So Chinny doing the last couple of reinforcements. He's already done on the front. He's now doing the one at the ladder before heading downstairs to join his team. There is a real possibility he could still playing it upstairs. No. Smart move.
And
Better play
that's
to come downstairs.
what we expect.
However, what I wasn't expecting quite so much is Vandal to play inside the A site. But
Yeah.
thankfully he's doing it. He's doing it with a shotgun, and as rare as it is to see no ACOG on the SMG-11 when you're playing it at such a short range.
I mean, it
Doing
makes
with the hollow
sense.
sight makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean the fire rate at this range is also just going to tear through people. So it's a good pairing of weapons to use in this playing inside the A site.
Yeah, no, definitely. Honestly, if it were me, I would probably just use a shotgun. Trying to hold that door, I mean, you're going to pretty much one-shot most people at that range.
Yeah.
And, but overall, I just wouldn't play smoke in the site. I would just, you know, try to do it the standard way. Everyone else does it. Just play them just outside the site. He can still deny it with those smokes. You know, we'll see if it works out for them.
Oh, Redeemer holding that single wall that's already blown open. Titan holding the A door from inside the B side, something we saw miles away. Standardized thing to do. And Nips is holding the stairs from the back of the boxes. So Redeemer still being droned, having a real issue with that one. Finally kills it off. But his position is well and truly figured out now. Smokes onto the A door already being used as Capitao peeked in and taken a little bit of damage. The smokes now coming into lockers. They're completely covering that area off. A nice pre-fire here coming up from SoaR. And anyone that may be dropping in and running through the lockers, but they're not using it. Vandal does pick up a kill onto Fighter outside the door, but Fighter died putting down some firebolts. And that is traded straight 1-for-1. Redeemer, they're going to go and sit in the spot now. He doesn't have a shotgun. He's got the MP5. Shots rattle off the shield. He's healed himself up. Used a couple of rounds off and is going to keep an eye on the door, but they're not coming in. Neps, meanwhile, picks up great as he tries to come and down the stairs, and now it is 4v3 in defense favor.
Now, honestly, the attack I'm seeing from these guys is not what I like to see. Did you see those smokes? All 3 smokes in the same position. They're not doing anyone any favors in that particular position. I would have liked to see for that is try to smoke off the wall, advance into B. They had the pick on the guy in.
Titan picking up the kill from the other side
Okay.
first. Chinny even getting the second kill here as they try to rush in. Redeemer does finally get the last one, but yeah. That's kind of what you expect to happen when you've got 4 players all trained on the A door and all 3 attackers try and roam straight in through it. That's why this site becomes very tough to attack, but nothing that attacking team did seemed to suggest they had any other idea on how to do it.
It didn't make a lot of sense. Their attack, those 3 smokes. Okay, smoke is the way to debunk that defense. What you do, you get, okay, someone's playing in the A site. You get the pick, and they did. They got the pick with that fire arrow. The next thing you do, lay down smokes on the A wall and just deny the vision for the guys holding in B. So you go in and you plan, and it's really that simple. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it, but they wasted their smokes from Ash just trying to get into delivery. I don't see. I mean, you don't necessarily need to do that.
So, time now for Denial to go downstairs for their own defense. Now, they are immediately bringing out a Frost with SMG, so not going to have a shotgun, not going to play her inside A necessarily, we'll see. But she's also putting those traps down all over the site and the common plant points, any kind of rush points, so that it delays anyone trying to sprint on in there just that little bit longer. Meanwhile, the rest of the setup, double Rook and Doc again as before. Fighter bringing those cameras, which some teams, well, a lot of maps, these cameras are a must-do. Valkyrie cameras are a must-pick these days. You have to have that extra vision, can't rely on the normal cameras. On this site, some teams are starting to say, no, actually, we're okay with them because we know where everyone's going to come from. The attacks become so cut and paste, copy pasta. We don't need that extra vision and go for someone else a little bit more like Smoke. Far more delay tactics.
I mean, Hereford basement defense is a whole lot like bank basement defense. It's okay, they're gonna attack from server. Okay, they're gonna attack from lockers. I mean, we pretty much see the same thing. Some teams like to mix it up, but for the most part, it's the same thing over and over again. And it looks like that's what we're seeing again here. They're gonna open up delivery. They're gonna open up lockers, and they're gonna try and aggress on the A site.
So they've opened up delivery. Now Neps is trying in through the top. Make sure they clean out anything that might be waiting underneath there. And while there's no anti-breach waiting underneath in lockers, there is Doc sitting here watching delivery from a slightly different angle.
Ooh.
An angle that makes that possible. Neps takes his head clean off, firing in over the top of that locker cabinet.
And I say it, you know, I see why they play Doc there. And this is the same thing with the server defense. I see why they're playing Doc in server. Honestly, I don't think it's the right decision. I think Doc can bring so much more to your team if you play him in a reserved role where he can apply fire support, sure, but not completely expose himself. That way he can pick people up instead of just getting picked off like that.
Grenade comes in, flows behind the bomb. Fighter tanks it like a champ, doesn't take too much damage for it. Fires out again towards Vandal as he throws the next grenade in. Tanks that one like a champ too.
Kind of surprised he's alive.
Yeah, has a lot of health left still. So the two of them trading a fairly equal number. Now the fire bolt's going to come in. The shots are coming in from out top two. Fighter, while he's taken lower again, has to dodge out another grenade. Go for the C4 out the door. Doesn't get it far enough, and then will get down before he can even explode it. And that's two defenders dead now in total. SoaR looking good here on their attack, slowly deconstructing the defending team. Trying to rush in that time around, those not going to make it work. BCK picks up one, Great picks up another, and we're back down to a 3v3. Titan though gets in, uses the reinforcements against them. Redeemer picks up one kill as he tries to cross from ladder into the site through that delivery hole. BCK now the last man left inside the B boxes. Titan's in the site, Redeemer's in there on one of the old Frost Trap spots, an easy kill now though it's 3v1 though. BCK is looking for them to move after the plant. Genie's at the lockers, he's going to sprint across, darts into the lockers, gives his position away, and it's an easy kill for Genie to pre-fire there. And SoaR, just like that, go 2-0 up.
You know, we're seeing from both defense sides here, they're reinforcing some of those AWOLs. Now, as a PC player, as a former PC player, I can't honestly understand why they would do that. For me, it was as simple as, okay, we open up all the walls, we play guys in B, and we shoot them as they come in. There's no need to risk playing someone in A. And it's, honestly, it worked out for one of them, the defense. When they played the shield in there. But I feel like it's a lot more risky. I feel like you're putting yourself, you're putting your teammates in a position where, okay, they can be picked off, and then smokes can be laying down, and you've got reinforced walls to plant behind. I don't see much logic there.
Yeah, they put them in there to protect the Valkyrie, right? That's obvious. They put the Valkyrie in there. They had her prone behind the bomb. Those walls, if they weren't reinforced, she'd have been slaughtered from that delivery wall as soon as it was thermited.
Yeah, but
that's fine.
What I'm saying
but when
here,
she can't hold it from the doorway, and that's all she's got to hold, what do you do once she's dead? Nothing, as we just saw. So yeah, I can see what you mean. Like I agree. I wouldn't reinforce it either. I can see why they did it. That's exactly what they wanted to protect. They wanted to look after the Valkyrie, but she couldn't hold that door because of the onslaught of people coming through, and there's nothing your team could do to help her with that onslaught of people because you'd reinforced it off.
Yeah.
10 seconds to go.
We'll see. Either way, now they're holding the TV room and kitchen. SoaR obviously looking to stretch their lead to 3. 4 players on the floor above right now, reinforcing the trapdoor above the A site. Stops their own rotate down, so it suggests they might not look to stay up here. We'll find out. But they have got a second reinforce here onto the top of red. Then downstairs, they fully reinforce the wall in towards the container, the garage spot. And then over here by dining, fairly standardized for this floor. Going to leave Titan inside the B site. He does have impact nades and one left, so he can go down through the trapdoor to escape if he needs it. But other than that, they're putting a lot of hold on this floor above, and even on the top floor, Ginny.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a heavy, it's a very heavy roamer strat for TV. I've seen teams successfully defend TV site without any roamers at all, to be honest. And you know, I can see why they're doing it, but on a map like Hereford, you've only got one form of rotation outside of drops and the ladder, and that's the stairs. And if the attackers cut that off, you're pretty much condemning your roamers to death. It's really easy for the attackers to just kind of deny the roam altogether.
Carbon with a quick rappel up, picks off Jaeger, who is late to rotate to his finalized position. Takes his head clean off as he sprints across the staircase. Now the stairs and the top floor are swarmed by Denial players, and while this grenade does rattle off the wall right next to Carbon's head, I believe it was an impact nade, so it does no damage to anyone. Vandal gets shocked inside the kid's bedroom. He's now got to be cautious about the push or kill the drone. Does get the SP-11 kill on the drone quickly, and is covered from the other side of the corridor by Neps firing into the staircase. Neps though peeks on out, does get the kill onto Carbon without taking too much serious damage, but now Fighter's coming down the staircase and he cannot get that one. Meanwhile, in the room next door, Vandal is keeping his head in because Great has rotated into the room next door and he knows he's already figured out, but he has the trapdoor to rotate down through if he gets in over his head.
Now this is really interesting. The defenders are pretty much denying, well, not denying, they're holding the attackers on the second floor. And honestly, I can understand why the attackers are taking so much time here, but it's 2 minutes into the round and they haven't gotten control to push down into the actual site yet.
They do now have that floor, but yeah, they've only got a minute left. They
Yeah.
can get into the A, but there's a lot of holes in this wall here for Titan, and he can fire into that site with ease while holding this staircase as well. Vandal now underneath the trapdoor means they can't come down this way. They are thatchering the wall, but they are going to blow it on open. So Vandal's going to sprint away. Nothing they can do about stopping that. But as they now drop down, Fighter walks straight into it. Does take the shotgun blast to his face, but he's walking around with 1 point of health now, and that's enough. Still not on the site though. Redeemer will take out BCK from across the hallway. That's a very nice and important kill. They are now down to what could potentially be a 1v2, sorry, 2v2. Brook rotated into red. Vandal finally taken out inside the site. Redeemer sitting inside B, inside A. They sprint across. Titan now going over to Powerful, but he gets down behind the desk, and as he's panicking trying to push forward, gets taken out from afar. Fighter with that kill, but Redeemer takes Great down. Fighter's still only on 1 point of health, but Redeemer now pushing into the corridor, cannot stop the plant in time, and in his panic exposes himself to Fighter, and even with only 1 point of health, he picks up 2 of the final kills in that round.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, that was a really lucky round for Denial. Tanking that shotgun blast as a 3-speed on, on Fighter, that's very lucky. 1 pellet miss just barely, had to have been, and that ended up costing SoaR the round.
Finally on the board then. Denial go through, but as you say, was close.
Extremely close, and they did spend a lot of time debunking those roamers. Turned out to be a good thing for SoaR. Honestly, like, this is what we expect to see from Denial, right? This is a map they're more familiar with. Again, it was, like you said, their pick. And sure, the rounds are close, but they seem to have a more refined plan going into each and every round.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
They are now down onto the basement again. Not successfully haven't successfully held this once yet. Denial.
They'll get there.
They are doing those same reinforcements on the A site though.
Not sure. I'm really not sure about those reinforcements. I'm gonna be honest.
Gonna do the last one, please don't do the last one.
No,
They are making
I think
the
they
last
impact
one.
grenade that one.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if I C4'd it this time, but yeah, just double checking they hadn't thought they're there. All right, what's our solution to this? Let's fully reinforce it. That's a solution. Just, moment of fear.
I have actually seen teams. Now, this is interesting. I have actually seen teams do pretty much the opposite of what let's call the Penta strat, where you open up the whole wall, and where they reinforce the whole wall, and they put 2 shields in there, 1 in front of the door, and 1 in the corner. They play 2 players in there, 1 behind each shield, all their Jaegers, all their barbed wire stacked to hold that door, and I've seen that work.
What they're doing in here.
Well, it
Great
seems
put
to be
1
something
in
along
there.
those lines, yeah.
Fighters staying in there, a lot of barbed wire, the wall's almost fully reinforced, the shield in front of the only hole that they've got to rotate in there to keep him covered, and then he's just going to try and hold it. Using the MPX too, which is confident. Doing this with a shotgun would mean holding that door could be pretty easy, to be fair.
Honestly, yeah.
Spray blast at the door, but he's got faith in his MPX skills, make sure he's going to land those headshots instead. We'll see whether that's true or not. He's got a couple of frost traps in there to help him out as well as he goes continuing to make holes in towards the back of the boxes, but the attack is starting to take shape already outside. Vandal at the back, Chinny's getting EMP down towards delivery. That will be cleaned out and then blown open in just a moment. The charge is already on it. Redeemer going to have to hit it a couple of times and then it gets opened up. It's going to drone straight in. Immediately spots Frost down in the corner of lockers and a trap waiting for them when they come on in. But Neps is now up here in the corner, and he can easily, once he opens up a big enough hole, fire a Capital Bolt down and into that corner. And there goes BCK.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, no,
wow.
he only fired the one. BCK gets out with just enough health surviving. That's a quick movement from him. Nice reactions. It does not take long to down a man with those bolts.
It looked like what happened there is when he got off the bench, he vertically left the hitbox of the fire.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Gets flashed out in the corner instead, though. Titan's still above.
Oh,
the grenades are now
nades.
bouncing in right above him, and a
Oh.
quick and easy kill. Neps taking that one out. Flashbang's now going into A. Does actually hit Titan a little bit himself, but Neps repelling upside down here on the... This is a nice angle. Repelling upside down here on the fire escape, firing into the back left corner of the A bomb. But no one there this time. Fighter, they know he's in here. They've already checked it and droned him behind the shield. Just not quite the right angle, and he is actually just far enough to the right here that Neps won't have sight line on him. He's going to try and edge that fireball in through. Does it get close enough to Fighter not to do
Just
damage?
wow.
Wow,
How
how
are
is he
you
surviving
not?
this?
Holy. That's something.
That is an achievement and a half. That dude has lungs of steel, but into the smoke they come, and he's reloading his gun. Does get the down onto the second man in, but the first man's right on top of him, and it's Vandal for a quick kill. Going to go for the plant now. He's going to get stopped, though, by a powerful one sprinting in before Titan can come in and clean him up. Great now, the last man pinned right over in the middle of the room, and Chinny from Single picks him up. SoaR with a successful attack, starting to run away with this one.
Now, I said earlier, I like that I'm seeing from Denial more like refined strategies, but what you said earlier about Valkyrie, the shotgun, if she had a shotgun in that situation, she would have easily been able to hold that site, probably killed 2 or 3 people on that aggress, but yeah, she was stuck on the MPX, she missed her shots and ended up giving the site away.
Yeah, loses control of it. There's no way for her teammates to rotate back to her to back her up when she's on the reload or when she's just taken down, and they're picked off from a distance and slaughtered as they try and come in to help, and yeah, that's the result of it. Once again, another successful plant.
And it's looking like we're going to be seeing a 4-1 situation coming out here from SoaR. Now, this is not what we were anticipating, honestly. I mean, Denial's pick. We expected to see Denial play a little bit more refined on this map, and they do seem to know what they're doing, but it's just, I don't know, I can't help but feel.
SoaR here are now reinforcing the A wall again themselves. They left 2 open, but 2 are done. Now, the last time that they attacked this site, Denial didn't seem to have any kind of plan. Part of the reason that they fell down, they all just tried to rush through the A door, got slaughtered, whatever. But if they figured out the attack, they figured out how SoaR hold this, and have seen SoaR now attack against them with a similar kind of reinforcement setup. Let's hope they've learned from that. Let's hope they have an idea as to how they can do this better this time. We will find out. But once again, Vando is inside that site, still making a couple of holes thanks to this impact nade being a little bit smaller than he would like. With that shotgun, Chinny coming down with a trophy system to help him out just as the round ends. And then Neps, of course, seeing the B side with Redeemer and Titan holding the same spots they were first time, so nothing too crazy different from them from before. BCK cracks open that single wall, come around towards the double. He knows he doesn't do any anti-breach. We'll let that open for free. Carbon is on the floor above, just firing down, keeping angles and making sure the doors don't get peeked out of and then come to join them. Droning for a bit too. Great starts to hold the delivery angle. Fighter going to continue droning inside the site, but Vandal is now the man that's got to be very cautious of how he holds, where he sits, and what he peeks, because he is pivotal to this SoaR defense.
And honestly, I don't like seeing, again, Smoke playing in the site, because he can very easily hold the site from just the doorway. He doesn't need to expose himself terribly. All he needs to do, just plug a Smoke into the room when they're trying to aggress and pretty much deny it. I would rather see a full open wall, no reinforcements, and a Smoke playing in the doorway. And then that's another reason why. You got asphyxiating bolts coming in from delivery. There's nothing you can really do to stop that.
Redeemer just sprints into the site. He takes a lot of damage on his way in, and as soon as he gets in there, even more damage. Fighter's the same man that killed the first guy in there. Same man that killed your Smoke. You sprint into the same spot, and sure enough, he's going to shoot you in the same place. I don't know what you're really expecting to do there, if I'm completely honest.
This is the same problem. We actually faced this problem in PC Pro League when we were trying to execute similar strat to this, where we would want to play one player in the site. We were like, okay, well, we need to hold this position. If we lose this position, we lose the round. And you saw what happened there is they just lost 2 people.
However, Titan gets a couple of great shots into the door, drops the diffuser in there too. Neps gets the 3rd man in, and this attack is now starting to crumble because SoaR are landing these important shots. Now, though, it's still 2v3. Looking at lockers from Nebs. Titan still watching the door, ducks away from it a couple of seconds, but back up again. Chinny on the staircase is watching delivery. Titan gets the kill and the first man comes in. Next man's now towards the lockers though, and Nebs will shut him out. SoaR, shaky start, but then sure enough, the guys from B
managed to hold it. Yeah.
Held that site.
Now for me, it's the thing is they did not need to expend those 2 people. Because the guys in B, what did they do? They did their job. They held the site. What did the guys in A actually do? Not pretty much nothing. They wasted a few resources, but they gave their lives for it.
So there it is, the 4 rounds to 1. SoaR onto attack. Going to be attacking the basement again. Something which Denial have not been able to hold for 2 rounds now.
I'm really hopeful for Denial here. Hopefully, like let's see a Denial come back. Come on, Denial. I believe in you.
So let's see. Have they learned their lesson? Do they know what they need to change? Can they do it a bit better? Well, let's have a look at the Valkyrie first. She is running the shotgun this time, so if they run that same setup, she might be able to hold better solo. We shall find out.
Seems like they heard you, Panky.
Yeah. I mean,
I know.
we went through the whole thing before they got nerfed,
Yeah,
right?
right?
Shotguns are too good. You can't run into a room because this is one on the other side of the door. You just get mincemeated.
But people, when they...
Xbox were one of the loudest people about that being an issue.
Right. But when they got nerfed, people were like, shotguns suck. No, they don't. They're still totally
They still
viable.
do that job well. They were balanced, not destroyed.
Yeah, no, and honestly...
Then you try and do exactly that defense, and you don't run the shotgun.
You stick a laser sight on a shotgun, and it's perfectly viable. It does a whole lot of damage in a compact little circle. There's not a whole lot that an enemy can do. Rushing into that site especially, I mean, what are they going to do at that range? Nothing.
So we'll see if she can hold better on this time, and what's the point? Can she sit inside the fire and take it like a champ again? We'll find out.
That was something to see.
Yeah, in the next episode of Mythbusters. But either way, do find these outside cameras pretty quick. Neps is starting to crack
That
these
face,
open.
though.
Smiley face in the pillbox.
Oh, my God. I wonder who had the time to set that up.
Yeah. So, Lando keeping an eye on the floors above. Chinny with this beautiful angle in towards the front door and towards piano. Neps still keeping an eye on the smiley face and making sure no one peeks out of there for anything shady, while Titan fires in above the lockers, looks for what's around there and looks for the delivery wall. It is now opened up too. They got the reinforcements on that back wall towards Carbon, so he's covered for a while, and they are cracking things open again as they do now start to edge their way down. Neps is going to go to that spot to repel again. Titan's taking a bit of damage this time around, trying to fire in through the holes he's made, but does survive it. Fighter, we can obviously see that head. The movement might have been what Neps needed to give it away. Fire goes in, and this time Fighter is taking damage from it.
That was beautiful.
That's better. This time he goes down, and Neps with a fantastic shot opens up that site. So we don't even get to see if that shotgun is going to be impactful or not, because it's a beautifully placed Capital bomb.
Another
Next
beautiful
one.
Capital.
Oh, there we
Wow.
go. Pre-aim the spots, pre-aim the position, you know they're going to sit, and it's easy done. BCK, though, picks up the kill on the first man through the door. Not going to get the second one because it's Blackbeard. Now Carbon's got 4 to find to hold his team in this map. He's got to get every single kill or hold it for another minute and 8 seconds. He gets the first one. He's got a good angle across both the lockers and the door here, but he pushes too far forward. His teammates are backing out and leaving him. They have no faith in him. Carbon, with 5 HP left, his team are gone. He's going to start healing himself up in the lockers. Edges around, cautious with the delivery. There's a Claymore out there waiting for him. Grenades are lamping in over his head. The plant is going down inside the A site. There is the kill. There's the finish from Neps. He was arguably MVP of that entire round.
That was definitely MVP of that round. Those were beautiful fire arrows.
Definitely MVP of that round. And gets the last kill to seal it out. 5 rounds to 1 in favor of SoaR for the second map. They won the first map 5 rounds to 3. All 3 points heading their way. Denial.
Wow, Denial.
Season 1, Season 2 champions.